Good evening, everybody, and welcome again to this evening edition of Tip Tuesday. We again have a wonderful and great show lineup for you guys on today. We're going to be talking to what we call an expert in his field of what I'll let him tell it. So before we jump into the show and everything that has to do with the show, I want to bring in our other hosts, Lady D and Brother Rich. Guys, can come on in.
What's up? What's up? Welcome everybody.
Welcome, everybody.
Awesome, guys. Hey, guys, we have a great show lined up today. I think this is something that is much needed in the times in which we are living in, and so yeah. I'm sorry. I saw a comment kind of threw me off. All right. So what we're gonna do is Can you take care of that for me, Lady D?
We're the only ones to see that.
I got it.
All right, cool. All right, so yeah, that was sad. Sorry about that, guys. We saw a couple of comments. I was like, "Whoa, what is that?" So again, we have a great show lined up, and I think this is much needed for the times that we're in and things that we're dealing with the situation in which our country is in, and everything that's going along with the country, and just in our everyday life. And here at Next Showcase USA, we are a music platform, but we try to give tips and nuggets for people to be able to last and to go on in their everyday life. So, without further ado, what we're going to do is we're going to have our guest come in. But Lady D, can you read his bio before he comes in?
Yes, I can. Our guest today is Adonius D. Johnson. Adonius is a transformational success coach driven to help individuals and organizations capture the influence of human capital. As the founder of Invisible Crown Incorporated, Adonius and his team have helped thousands achieve excellence in fostering creativity, collaboration, and harmony. In his 20 plus years as a successful entrepreneur, Adonius has witnessed how the commonly accepted mindsets of "that's just how I am" "but we've always done it that way" can hinder progress and possibilities. His comprehensive training program helps clients unlearn these disadvantages narratives and relearn how to navigate the path to reaching their full potential. With his unique teaching methods, Adonius promotes interpersonal literacy as a key component in forward-thinking leadership development. Released in 2016 and now available in 13 formats, which include Spanish translation and American Sign Language, Adonis's book debut, I Am My Life Coach, is recognized internationally as a blueprint for success, beginning with the mind and leveraging self-awareness for tangible results. As a sought-after leader, mentor, and success coach, Adonius has led workshops for many organizations, including the Chicago Public School System, one of the third largest school districts in the nation, the historical Rainbow Push Coalition, and the Illinois Department of Juvenile Justice. He was recently nominated for a community award by U.S. Congressman Danny K. Davis in recognition of his outstanding mentorship work in the Chicagoland area. Adonius currently resides in Illinois and is the host of the Alternative Route podcast, where he engages in restorative and empowering conversations with the national audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you done? Oh, did I? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring our guest in, Mr. Adonius Johnson.
Good. Thank you.
How you doing, man?
Man, I feel pretty good. How about yourself, Mark?
Doing good, sir. So again, this is different for us tonight because we want to be able to tap into another phase of the community in which we need to focus in on with our people. You know, we're going through a lot. We are an organization that trend on music and things like that, but we understand that we deal a lot with mental health issues as it relates to music in the music industry. A lot of things we deal with in the music industry as it relates to mental health. So we need life coaches and transformational coaches.
A professor of mine said, "So why don't you challenge the status quo?"
I'm not sure what that was, but okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump right into the show and talk to us. First of all, And I'll turn it over to Lady D. I guess my question to you, maybe you can explain to our people, what's the difference between a life coach before you get started and a transformational coach? Did I say a transformational coach? Did I say that right?
Yeah, transformation coach.
Yes.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, a life coach right now in today's time is someone that assists you with your choices and decisions, right? Me, myself, I was totally against that. I believe that people don't need to be assisted with their life. They need to take ownership of their life. So that's kind of what sparked the book, I Am My Life Coach. So it started out with me coaching myself and understanding what accountability and responsibility is. And that's just removing the expectations off of everyone else and putting it back on yourself. So actually, I Am My Life Coach is a self-affirmation. So as a life coach, life coaches, again, assist people, but as a transformation coach is the route that I took and what I continue to study and what I look to focus more of my interest on is the transformation, going from one point to another, going from the bottom to the top, it's the butterfly effect, going from the caterpillar, understanding the role as a caterpillar, understanding what comes with being a caterpillar, and then recognizing in your transformation, right, which is your time of being still inside of the cocoon, how do you handle well with that process? That's the holding pattern. Then understanding the role of the butterfly, the expectations of being accountable, the expectations of being responsible. Now you're flying where? Flying to where you want to go in life. This thing is really on you at this particular point, but you just don't go from a caterpillar straight to a butterfly. There has to be a transformation. Many people lose this point. They lose it because we want to just automatically be there and don't want to go through the process that help us to get there. So I chose this particular route to stand in as a transformation coach, and that's just to help people along the way as they help themselves.
Awesome. Lady D.
All right, so I just have a couple of questions. And reading your bio, I read that one of the things that your book is recognized for is leveraging self-awareness for tangible results. Could you give us some examples of some of those results?
Self-awareness is identifying that you wasn't even equipped to be successful at the things that you're looking for in life. I think that you can tackle mental health, which is what's trending right now, is the trending word, but it's really mental illness. That means you lack the ability to produce something. So being that you lack the ability to produce something, you'll never get the results that you're trying to accomplish. But that doesn't stop you, and that doesn't it just make you, and you're not eligible to produce the results you're looking for. So becoming self-aware is to be present. And that's how I look to go the alternate route. The alternate route is just taking a different approach to why you don't have the things you should have in life. So that's the tangible thing. Once you become aware by manifesting who you are, then you resemble whom you are. Now you can use all this experience that you have experienced by getting your answers wrong and not being able to succeed in the things that you set out to accomplish. When you stop looking at the results, the results is you just have not accomplished those things. Now you have to look back at the manufacturer. You have to look back at the system. Why am I not successful in accomplishing what I set out to do? It has to be an alternate route, which is called self-realization. So now that I recognize that the issue is really me, I'm not equipped, I'm not educated enough about myself. Now I'm becoming more, that's really a process called self-manifestation. So now I'm more present and I'm more available to the things that I'm looking for now. Now I know exactly what to say as well as what not to say. And that's the results that you receive in life.
Okay. So that's the reverse of all, people always say, well, they just don't like me, or it's never them. It's always somebody else.
Absolutely. It's an inside job. And what I like to do in the route that I like to take people is to examine self. So becoming self-aware allows you to be present. And then at that point, you recognize that your culture and your community is what shaped the is what shaped your environment. Now that your choices and decisions and the things that you set out to do, your environment wasn't healthy enough. It didn't have what you needed in order to get what it is you desire. So we have a problem dealing with the culture as well as the customs that goes with the culture that creates the community that you involved in. And now you're setting out in life doing things, but you're unsuccessful because you don't have the substance to sustain. You don't have the substance. You don't have enough of the information that goes with whatever it is that you're trying to produce.
Okay.
That makes any sense.
So does that work with like people that say, when you talk about like your culture, do that work with people that say like, well, I grew up in a family that was this way, so that's why I'm like I am, because my family was so bad for me, you know, things like that. They blame everybody else, even their family.
It goes with that, Lady D, but it's a little more, you got to go a little more in depth with it. The culture, when I say the culture is a mentality. It's a mindset. And in this mindset, it's not a physical person. It's not black or white. Mm-hmm. It's recognizing the customs that goes with whatever the act that you attempted to do. It's like feeling like you want to be married, but how have you practiced? How have you rehearsed? What have you done? Don't tell me about looking at the Cosby Show or what you seen your parents perform in front of you. You have to look at what practice did you do? Mm-hmm. Where's your self-control? Where's your self-discipline? Where did you learn this inside training at? Anything you practice, you will get stronger at. But if you just get an education or just information, education is linked to information. Mm-hmm. If you just reading to get more knowledge and more knowledge, you just cramming information, but you're still not using your mind the way that it was meant to be used.
Right. Right. Okay. I understand.
So that's why we kind of blame other individuals, because we see that we're not properly prepared. We're not equipped to do what we set out to do. So we look back at whoever it is that did the programming. And that's what some of us are afraid to do. We're afraid to reflect and recognize and understand that you're not responsible for the programming you received in your childhood. But at this point, you are 100% responsible for going back, making the adjustments, because you didn't choose what was put inside of you. Yeah, exactly. You've just been operating off of software that's not successful for where you're going.
So as we grow, we get older, it's up to us to go on our own path. It's not about what we used to do or what we were taught. Yeah,
it's a little bit more, Lady D, as well as Reggie, as well as Mark. You actually have to identify with what you learn. Everything you done or everything that you do, that you acting out, you only can do what you've been taught. Mm-hmm. And so, which means you only gonna do what you have always done. And when you look at the results and see that you don't have what it is you think you should have, just because you wanted it, don't mean that you understood the work that went with what it is that you want. So you have to first identify with what you learned. Second, which is a whole nother process. This is transformation, what I'm explaining now. Mm-hmm. Unlearn what you learn. That's the real process. No one teaches this process. Not at church, not at school, not at home. Unlearning the bad behavior. You don't choose your future. Your habits do. So now that you're seeing this, you have to unlearn unproductive things that you have taken in that's not getting you the results that you need. Then here's another transformation. Now you relearn, this time being self-aware, this time being present. So age doesn't matter about the knowledge and information. Age does not make you smart at all. Just like school don't make you smart at all. It's understanding your purpose, which is what gives you your protection. When you decide you're going to do this show, or when you decide that you're going to reach out and help someone, it has to be a purpose that backs your actions. That's the fuel to produce the results that you're looking for. We don't just do something just to be doing it. We do it with a purpose, and that purpose provides protection because I know why I'm doing it. And I'm looking for the results. But when you see that the results is not there and this thing just ain't gonna work, the person I'm dating is just they're not capable of maintaining a marriage. He don't have what it takes. Then I have to take an alternate route, and I have to identify that I won't be successful if I keep going down this road. So I have to try something different. And that's my role as of right now at this present time in society as a transformation coach. because I transformed my own life. So I went through every last one of these steps. Me, myself, in 2012, I had a mental breakdown. And in my mental breakdown, I was at the top of life in terms of assets and things that I accomplished, like owning several businesses throughout Chicago. As a matter of fact, throughout the United States, I had businesses everywhere. A restaurant down in Orlando. I opened up a business in Arizona. So I've always been doing what it is my environment taught me to do, which is Chicago. Hustle, grind, make it happen for yourself. But somewhere down the line, if you ask me, was I happy? I would start explaining, I drive a Maserati. I have my own boat. I have all the things in life, and I'm good like that. But when life went belly up for me and I had that moment with myself and that thing came down, I was on my way to one of my stores and I felt a strange feeling that morning, got out the car, walked a half a block, left the car running and collapsed and went into a 5-day coma. Coming out of that coma, it was like a reawakening to life, but this time I saw myself. Now, since 2012, I have been an actual patient in the mental health hospital. So I was given the medicine. I'm a mental health advocate. 2 times I tried to suicide in life, due to the fact that me not understanding why life is turning upside down for me, but I'm dealing with the reality. And I did not take the medicine once I got out the last couple of times. But again, it left me with self-realization. It left me being self-aware. And now that I'm seeing the things that I never would have saw, it made me scared. It frightened me. It brought fear into my life. And so that began a new process. The book, I Am My Life Coach, was notes that I always took over the past 20 years that I actually wanted to give to my son when I leave this earth, filled with a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge. I didn't get a chance to give it to my oldest son because he just suicided in June. So I just lost the son to mental health, but again, as I continue to do this work and stand in the gap, it's really about how do we become mentally healthy. See, if we feed the mind what the mind desires, then we're using the mind the way that it was created to be used. But knowledge is just information. We trying to figure out how to use the mind to make choices and decisions that have created the circumstances and the places that we are living in right now. It was by your choices and decisions is why people are living in the circumstances that they living in. And no one knows, not even themselves, make another choice, make another decision. But it's like you bottom out and you give up. So that's pretty much a little overview of, how we got to here. And that's why the book is called I Am My Life Coach, because coming back from nothing, losing buildings, and I had 3 uniform stores at that time in Chicago and all these other different businesses, I wasn't capable of managing what I had because now I was being called by a greater power to manage myself. And once that happened, I was shipped to California, one-way ticket, where I was down here basically in a whole new environment, learning life all over again. And that was just myself. And then I received the call to wake up in the dreams, being haunted, go back to Chicago with absolutely nothing. The same place that people laughed at me about, the same place that people in my mind, said I went cuckoo and crazy. It was all over the news. So people are familiar with my story because I was the laughing stock of the city that people couldn't see that I was hurting and trying to take my own life from me. But, we talking community over competition, but in the city, we like competition. So now when I came back, I had to unlearn, right? Everything, I didn't go no places I went new places and I did new things. Took me a whole year and a half. But once I started getting into my route, I had to use the same notes I wrote for my son was the same notes I had to read for myself. So he never got it. It was a son in me. It's a kid in me. We talking about the inner child that needs some inner healing, and it was me. I didn't get it in the church. I didn't get it in the schools. I didn't get it by my single mother. I didn't get it by nobody. I got it inside of me. What I was looking for was really in me.
Wow.
Wow. That was deep. That was
Wow.
deep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you had something?
So we often hear that, and that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. So transformation, uh, going to the Bible, uh, we be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You have to do something different in
That's correct.
order to get a different outcome. If we're doing the same thing over and over again, we're going to see the same outcome. If we are accepting the same type of person over and over again, the outcome is always going to be the same. So we have to start looking for different. What are some of the things that you teach on how to move differently than you are used to? Because I've done it this way all my life. So what are some of the things that you teach to move
Well,
differently?
one of the starting points that I look for is I try to understand environments. Like since my fall in 2012, I have been to 26 different countries. So when I come, I don't go on vacation. My life ain't a vacation no more. My life is my life. And I recognize that when I become me, the world will pay me to be me. The world is looking for you. But if you looking for everything in the world, you will never find it, because your world is really locked inside of you. If you think about your creator and you understand the way the transformation of things take place, remember, a tree that you see that produces fruit started off as a seed.
Mhm.
A man started off, he put it inside of a boy. A woman was inside of a girl. So I learned to look at environments, and I see what environment. You see, your environments don't have to change, but you can change in the midst of your environment. And when you change, you bring on change to the environment, because now you see what you're trying to do. You're trying to do it in the wrong area. You have to make sure that what you're doing stays organic. You don't need no, it has to be GMO. You don't need to modify anything. You have to make sure that now that you see what you're baking, you're going to take your time and you're going to practice, put into practice what you want, and stop going to ask people who never been where you're going for directions, because you don't need advocates and you don't need people around polluting what you're attempting to do. So you have to protect what? Self. But if you never learn, Reggie, the worth, which is, again, this is huge. This is very huge. I just talked about this on my podcast yesterday. We talking worth, right? And when you understand self, remember, I'm trying to get you to self-manifestation. I am my life coach. You got to first become self before you recognize how important these decisions you making only going to affect you. But once you understand self, now, Reggie, you got to find out, what is your worth? What do you bring to a relationship? How much value do you have? Now, this is very important, because Lady D, as a transformation coach, I invest now, not just in businesses and things, but I invest in people. So that's called human capital. I look at what brought the value down. That's called stock. Confusion, anger issues, bad management, all these things is what keeps your value from going up, right? So how can you really understand self when you saying that everything that you do is your personality that was shaped by your community that also adopted the customs? So now that you see that your value is low, so you don't know your self-worth. So now that you don't know what self is worth, right? But if you take the word worth and take the TH off, then you understand that something that you build in life is called a ship. And you build the ship, which is what God was showing through the book of Noah, which is a book I like, because he was building himself up to go somewhere in life. So anything you take don't need a ship to be built. Friendship, partnership, companionship, fellowship, right? So now we talking relationship. So you take the work, the self-worth, take the TH off, the worth become worship. And it's about now the things that you worship is actually what you identify with. So that's the spiritual connection of worshiping the one who assisted you, which is inner peace, You had to first hear the what? Inner voice to get what? Inner strength. Now you moving into different inner circles. And the feel inner healing takes place. But if you keep looking for these things in public places, then they're not able to give it to you on a one-on-one basis. So you never, Reggie, have a relationship that you can call a relationship. Just like now, we all on this podcast, and we have a relationship where we're able to communicate amongst each other. But if you keep going to institutions and keep going to these nonprofit organizations, and they never get a chance to hear what your real concerns is in regards to you, then you walk out just like you came in with nothing.
This is some good teaching. This is some good teaching. Real powerful. So now we talked about earlier, and you mentioned earlier about dealing with suicide and the process that you had to deal with it, even in your personal life. And so for our listeners and our viewers that's watching today, we know that this is a very stressful time with this pandemic. How do you, and how would you teach us, or what's some of the points that you can tell people how to maintain that mental stability that we actually need? Because a lot of people are definitely thinking about giving up, throwing in the towel, not be able to have or be able to get what they need to get. How do you deal with that? And what are some points that we can get to deal with mental illness? Actually, I don't know if we call it mental illness, just the whole stressful part of suicide.
And Mark, to add to what Mark is saying, also with the holidays upon us, and looking at the table and not seeing those loved ones that were there last year, or not even being able to gather with your family this year because of the pandemic. What are some of those things that that just adding on to what Mark is saying?
I think that both of them is good questions, Reg and Mark. And I think that right now is the perfect time. This is the perfect storm. This is the perfect season. This is really a grand finale for who you are about to be. This is the first time in history that people are actually having to communicate through mobile devices. We talking Zoom right now. We talking, if you didn't know how to talk, you didn't like people, you gotta like them now. This is about now what's inside of you. You see, you can be smart and play dumb, but you can't be dumb and play smart, especially at this point. So now you have to really think about what's actually planted in your head. What was planted was probably not planted by you. You just the end results to somebody else's foolishness or foolery. So what we have to do at this point, people, is we have to change the narrative. We have to be strong enough to first accept self-realization, meaning I got myself right here. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. But now, before I make another decision, another choice, before I do anything, I must first turn back around and I have to go find self. I got to go change the narrative in the relationships that I participated in. Let's start with like the woman and the man. She has to recognize he didn't leave her because he was cheating. Nobody want to be with a cheating man. We got to change the narrative. And now you got to recognize that you was drawn to someone that wasn't properly prepared to provide you with the understanding that you need to be a better individual. And you was, as a woman, no man want to be with a woman that's pretending as if she has everything and give everything, because now you have to understand the last relationship you was in, you gave it all. I gave everything. I did everything for him. I have to get you to see that you wasn't managing who you was. Who are you to give everything? See, that's bad management. So right now we at a point where we have to manage ourselves, manage what goes in our mouth in terms of food, manage what comes out of our mouth if you care about that relationship now. People are recording you right now. So you have to recognize that these children is following you on social media now. But see, you have to manage, and being private is even worse, because at the end of the day, you hiding yourself from yourself. So you never become yourself when you don't have nothing to hide at this point. Some of us, we ain't got to die, but this is the perfect time to recognize I got to do something. When you look at your credit and recognize, you know what? My credit is a reflection of what? Of who I am. So I said this as well on my podcast, is that when you do an appraisal for a building, they got to come out and do an appraisal on how much the building is worth. They don't say, let me see your credit as well. No, they are appraising the building, not you, right? You bought it at $200,000, it only worth $140,000. Well, why did the value go down? It went down because they shooting in your area. They breaking in houses in your area. You have abandoned buildings in your area. The environment that your property is sitting in doesn't have the values to support what your building is actually worth. Let's move over to another section. A car, you bought it at $20,000, drove off the lot, and after a year, hitting these potholes in Chicago or any other place, but ain't no potholes like Chicago potholes. Now you go to the car and they offer you $10,000. You say, well, where's my value going 1 year? It depreciated. So now you have to look at yourself now, and you have to recognize, where is your value at? I would rather you recognize that, look, I done lost it all. But now moving forward, I have another opportunity to have it all because I got my mind back. My mind is solid now. It's sound. I don't need to mess it up by listening to somebody else that's pretending. I got to be around people that can identify that I'm going somewhere and they going somewhere. So you got to look at the environments that you are around right now. I said earlier, we talking about culture, and you talked about as a minute ago about the holidays coming around. Is that not customs? Customs that who created? That we created, and we living in our mind based on the what? A feeling. We feel like we should have this. I feel like at this age I should be married. I should have a wife. I feel like everything is I feel like, but you thinking is totally different from knowledge. Thinking is using your mind, but sometimes it takes something that you can't control to make you use what it is that you should have been using all the time. It takes a crisis in order to make you focus. It takes a problem in order for you to identify that you got to find an answer. Why not make yourself the problem and then finish the rest of this thing out working on the answers instead of trying to cover it up and spend your time looking outwardly in the mirror trying to make yourself up so you can look happy. How about we just stop pretending and we just work on the things that will actually make us happy?
Awesome. Before I go back to Lady D and Brother Reg, we definitely have a lot of followers watching and viewers. So I want to open it up to them. If they have some questions, we can see it in, I think from YouTube as well as Facebook, as well as Twitch, correct? Guys, am I correct on that? So if you guys have any questions now, you can type it in the room and we can ask Adonis your questions, and he can give you some insight on what we're talking about before we even open up even more to him to kind of expound on a lot of other things. So guys, got any questions? Let's go. All right. So while we're waiting on that, Lady D, I'll turn it back over to you while we're waiting on most of my questions.
I just had a question about your workshops. When you put on your workshops for the different companies and organizations, what kind of topics and goals do you talk about?
Mostly when I do workshops in corporate or even in schools, it's more professional development. Let's keep in mind that once I put myself back together, it took me some time to want to go back and start the entrepreneur spirit all over again. So in my book, I called it the entrepreneur spirit. That's a mindset. It's a way of thinking, right? So me creating businesses that's in success, that's balanced. I run my life like a business. So I am just like the country runs itself with a president, a vice president, a treasurer, a secretary, same way as Illinois. You have to run your life the exact same way. So I was gifted with putting businesses together. But once my life went belly up, and I had that scary encounter, it scared, God scared me. I'm scared of God. And I fear God, but what you fear is what you respect now. So even with me trying to spend that time getting my life back together, I lost everything. So I'm back in Chicago without anything, no resources, no money, no car, no nothing. And I was okay with it. I was happy with it. I was the most happiest I have ever been. And so now I take my time, Lady D. And so just being able to connect on that note, because less is more, but we living in a world where we believe the more you have, the happier you'll be. But the part that's missing is you have to manage. Anything you want, you got to manage. You know, I have a nice car, I have nice things, but there's maintenance that goes with it. You can't get your hair done. Ladies know this. And now you got that good hairdo and you like that feeling. It comes with a cost. That feeling comes with a cost. And you have to recognize now that even with relationships, you have to profile them because you have to manage the relationships. So I talk about management. I talk about leadership. I talk about teamwork. I talk about vision. I talk about goals. I have a workshop leading up to mission. We talking about strategy as well as action plan. And that's just, I am my life coach. Everything gets back to, I am my life coach. I am my life coach is a movement. I am my life coach is being present. That's about self-love, self-awareness, self-worth, self-discipline, self-realization, self-improvement, self-manifestation. All the words we never heard. Self-affirmation, a short, powerful phrase that you tell yourself. Did not God say, I am the I am? I am is the most powerfulest word that's working together. But what comes behind that word is crucial. You say, I am tired, then boom, you activate. You tired. I am lazy. I'm fed up. I'm sick of this. Everything you say gives power. Once you learn who you are, you probably won't say nothing. And you're going to know. But you see, listen to this. This is a trick for the audience, right? The word I am is, as I just mentioned, is powerful. The next word, Mark and Lady D, is mine. What is mine? Mine is ownership. See, you can't even see this. So like I show you a cup. I say, who cup is this? This is my ownership. What's the manifestation? Cup. Cup is what you can see. Mine is the ownership. Let's go back to this book. I am, what's the next word? My ownership of what? Life is what you will have. Because you're going to notice the more choices and decisions you make, you balancing out your life now and you focus. And coach, this is the spirit that's greater than yourself. This is what's going to get you the inner voice. This is what's going to bring you the inner peace. This is what's going to get you to an inner circle. This is what's going to get you some inner strength. This is what's going to get you into the right environments, into your future, into the path that you're trying to go down right now. That's why it's called I am my life coach. Some people think it's an arrogant thing, like, oh, what you saying? You don't need nobody. I'm saying it's me and the creator in me, and we working together. So if you don't like me, then I'm okay with that part. I like me.
Wow. Okay. We have a question from in the room. I got it here on the screen for you.
Let's go. What's the question? I can't read it.
How do you apply the coaching? And even though the coaching is logical, applying it is complicated.
Well, again, you get the book. The book kind of starts you down with exactly where you at. The book that I wrote is not a jump around book. There's no favorite chapter. Go to this chapter. This is my favorite. This book comes with instructions. It said this is not the jump around book. You will probably have to read this book maybe every 3 to 6 months. Ever since this book was published in 2016, I received it in 2017 in my hand, in my possession. This book, I tend to read it over and over because just like with your car, you drive your car 3,000 miles, you got to go get what, Mark, at 3,000 miles?
Yes.
You gotta go get an oil change.
Oil
Okay.
change, gas too.
You got well, you're gonna get oil, you're gonna get gas according to where you're going. But
No.
what I'm saying to you is, and to the listener, is that you have to begin to identify with the manufacturer who created you. Because a lot of the situations you living in, you created it. But if you don't own it, because you looking at everybody else, as Lady D said earlier, blaming your uncle and your auntie, that's a title with no description. That's another problem for you. We live under titles. What makes an auntie when there's no description? What makes an uncle, a brother when there's no description? I can go scriptures and let the scriptures talk. Jesus said, your mama and your brothers at the door. He literally stated, what mother, what brother? Jesus was a public speaker. Martin Luther King, public speaker. Malcolm X, public speaker. So when you recognize and identify with where you at right now, you have to remove the titles. That's the first thing. There's no such thing like a person saying, my heart was broken. Females, my heart was broken. How? My boyfriend. There's no such thing as a boyfriend, even in scriptures. The greatest book on earth never talked about a boyfriend or a girlfriend. So how did your heart get broken? That was mental. See, mental illness, which is unhealthy thinking. So we need to learn now how to use our mind. You think about the school system. I converted my book into a student edition. So it's now being used in Chicago public schools at this point. I also have 4 workbooks. One of them is for self-management. The other one is for self-development. We talking self-discipline and we talking self-control, right? You think about it. They got a PE class because they feel that the body, we don't want fat kids up in here. We looking at from the health standpoint that the food is not right, and we need to exercise, so we need PE. But now let's figure this part out. Why we haven't had an MH class? Mental health class. You really believe knowing how to use your mind is not important? Totally drop the ball. Who can you blame? So we look that's why we leave it unaddressed, because we look even more crazier trying to address something to people that done swept it under the rug, because all we making somebody else accountable for something that they didn't even create. So you have to create it for yourself. So you have to start over. Yes, it sounds logical. Yes, it sounds like, oh, this is easier said than done. Trust me. This is the easiest thing you can possibly do during a pandemic, is identify. And for some of us, I don't know if it's that caller, the ones that left that message, but for some of us, you can identify. You ain't got a choice in the matter. This is the only way for you. And that's why it's called the alternate route. Not alternative route, alternate route. Because we have to go another way. And thank Jesus for that right there. Because he's the one that said, many gonna take the open road, but only few gonna find the path. What is the path? An alternate route. I'm not qualified to do some of the things that I'm doing, but you don't need education to be a human being. The world is not made, it's being made. By who? Human beings. And how is it being made by human beings? By ideas and conversations. That's it.
Wow. Powerful. Reg, you got something else?
I'm good. Thank you for the what you've imparted so far. Your book is available. How can people purchase your book and begin to be their life coach?
The book, I like how you word that, be your life coach. Absolutely. Stop making the pastor responsible for you. Ladies that's married, stop going to the pastor telling them to talk to your husband. At the end of the day, that's what you signed up for. You can't expect somebody to get in the driver's seat after you done already made these vows. Let's keep in mind, the world is made off of vows, oaths, pledges, right? Chants, all these things is what conditions you to be who you are. Uncondition yourself. Uninstall self-doubt. Uninstall self-sabotage. Stop sabotaging yourself and become who you really should have been all the time. It's not too late to be what you might have been. The way you can find the book is on Amazon. We have a store on Amazon. I have the book the workbooks that's also available. I have a co-author on the workbook that went to school, has a master's in teaching. She partnered with me. Actually, she's a part of Invisible Crown, which is the coaching firm that I'm the founder of. Invisible Crown, you get it? Invisible Crown, right? It ain't what you see outwardly, is how I handle myself inwardly. That's called character and attitude. So she co-wrote the book, the workbook, and helped me put that book out for the children, starting from 4th grade to 12th grade, which is the workbook. And we also have a self-affirmation book. You can find all these things on Amazon, as well as on our website, www.IamMyLifeCoach.com or .org. .org is for more of the nonprofit side, because I Am My Life Coach, I'm here to announce, is now nonprofit. It's also 501c3 ready. So you can donate to that right there. And man, I'm excited about pushing this work and letting people know that this mentality, this mindset, this focused way of thinking, this a way of addressing yourself was birthed out of the city of Chicago. The world has seen us act a fool, and that's the narrative that the world have. You from Chicago, all over the world, they scream Chicago, but it's all bad. Everything is not a good reflection. But see, we understand the custom and the culture in the community. It's not like they put it out there. So let's do something different. Let's send another shot at the world again by standing up, letting them know that, hey, we got heart. We strong for no reason, but now we want to take that strength, that experience, that passion, and we want to use that to fuel where we going. My passion is fueled by my pain. My pain itself, this city has put a whipping on me. And I went running. Do you hear me? Running. I've been running from the city. But I came back to address the city that I ran from. And today, I ain't asking you to sit here and do anything other than stand up or stand down. I ain't here to build you up. I'm actually here to tear you down. Tear your whole thing of understanding down. I ain't here to agree with the way you think, audience. I'm here to challenge the way you think and hope that you will think something different. That I can encourage you at this point that, hey, it's not too late to be what you might have been, but you got to be willing to let that thing go. Because what you think you got, it don't have no value. That's self-evaluation.
Wow. Wow.
And it's never too late. It's never too late to
be what you might have been.
Yeah, it's never too late. Thank you, Michelle, for posting the links. Michelle posted the links for in our Facebook room. So that
my sniper's there.
you just go there and click on the links if you are on the Facebook page. If you're on YouTube, you can join us on the Facebook page. The links are there. So yeah, it's been a great conversation. Thank you for sharing.
Man, I'm grateful for being here.
I really hope that our audience, those that are struggling, those that are going through, those that are having a rough time now, do get some help, because in our community it's been stigmatized, and not just our community, but even on the religion side of it, it's kind of stigmatized about getting professional help as it relates to mental. But on the same thing, when we need a doctor, we go see a podiatrist. When we need a foot doctor, when we need our eyes checked out, we go see an eye doctor. We go see those specialists. So if we're having some mental issues, go see somebody that is in the mental profession to help. There's nothing wrong. There's no discarding how good God is. No discarding that God can turn the situation around. But sometimes we need to get some help from the specialist, in addition to prayer, in addition to having faith in God, in addition to trusting God. We need to get some professional help on a mental level.
Well, we here to provide that help. You guys, www.invisiblecrowninc.com. That's why we set up here. I have coaches that's ready. We have the phone lines that's open. We looking to do the community service, so reach out to us. We'll definitely come and set up. We doing work throughout the city. I wanted to start with this city because this city is what did it to me. All right, this city put a lot of pressure on me, and I wasn't ready to be what this city was forcing me to be. Just because as a female, just because you turn 18, don't make you grown and give you the right to go drink and gamble and do these particular things. As a man, I think it's 21. Then you can go out and drink and things like that. You're not ready. You don't know what comes behind these doors. And for some of us, we done already opened the doors, cut across the field. We already done taste and seen what a little getting it on would do for you. But we done turned temporary into permanent, where permanent don't have no more pleasure in it now. So we stuck. And to understand, here's for my religion people, or those people that gets on the phone and try to throw it on the pastors of the church. Ask yourself what a demon really is. Isn't it not anything that will hinder you and keep you from becoming the best version of you? When you recognize what sin is the things that's keeping you from addressing you. It's keeping you from being the best version of yourself. If you're going to upgrade your phone and get the latest iPhone, then you don't think you need to upgrade the software that you have when it comes down to dating, spending money, the things you do, image, self-control. These things is about managing it, right? Me, myself, I don't wish what I experienced on anyone. Believe me when I tell you, I speak from humiliation. That's the long version of being humble. I speak from this area for a reason. I don't have no other choice in the matter. But my life is more successful now than it was then, because that's what I bring to the table. I bring value, and I bring the value to not just myself, but to my family, to my friends, to my community, even to the city of Chicago. So even to have the entrepreneur mindset, Mark, you wanted to talk about entrepreneurship. I didn't have to write. People ask me, when the next book, brother? When the next book? I done sold over 50,000 copies of this book. When the next book? I don't need another book, because I'm here on purpose. I'm here on progress. I'm here on results. Show me the results. Then we know that you're doing things the proper way. So what did I do? I just looked at another group of people and said, put the book in Spanish. So now the book is in Spanish, in student edition and in adult edition. Not to mention, I'm working on putting the book in French. I'm also letting it be known, this ain't a small world, it's a big world. I also put the book in sign language. That's another avenue of people. This wasn't about money, this was about purpose. When you have something good that's going to help affect and to change people's lives, that's called human capital. That's the word. We here for a purpose. We here for a good time, not a long time. Not a long time to be sitting here in hell or hellish places, right? What you're looking for is in heavenly places. And the only way you getting over that is you got to get some of the things that's causing that confusion, that's causing loneliness, that's causing abandonment, that's causing all these. Those are the demons. Those are thoughts. Those are spirits. Those things jump. You shut them down, then you on your way. Just to let you out. I know some people gonna be mad at that one, but believe me, I'm here to empty the building. I ain't here to put more people in buildings. I'm here to let you know it's time for you to get up and walk. Jesus told that man, grab your mat, get up, bounce, keep it moving. That's what we're here to do.
That's scripture. Pick up your bed and walk.
Pick up what you got and keep it moving.
Well, listen, Adonis, man, this has been a great conversation on tonight, and I was going to tell you to get some closing remarks, but you already did that. So, listen, you have been fantastic, and I believe that I know that our listeners have gained a lot, learned a lot, and been blessed by what you have brought to the table and to our show on today. So, again, thank you for coming on. We're definitely going to have you back just to pour back some more that
transformational.
There you go. There you go. Some of the words don't come out right when I say them, so that's why I have a good team. All right. So
I was looking for those hard questions you had for me at the end, but I told you I got the army with me, so I'm good. Yeah.
Well, God was on your side, so he didn't want me to get those hard questions. He was on your side. He let you just go on and just say what you had to say. I had something for you, but it's 7:59, so we got to get the show.
Right.
But,
you guys follow me on Instagram, Adonius Johnson. That's with the U, Adonius Johnson. on Instagram. Also, I Am My Life Coach too. Follow that as well as on Facebook, you guys. I thank everybody, man, for allowing this opportunity. Lady D, we was good, no doubt. Also, you, Reggie, peace and blessings to you as well, my brother.
Oh, no
So
problem.
again, my brother, thank you so much. And again, we'll be talking soon. We'll have you back on the show real soon, man. All right, good. Thank you a lot, man, and thank you for everything. All right.
Peace out, no doubt.
All right.
Take care. All right, so everyone, be sure Michelle Jones is sharing the links to where you can get I Am My Life Coach. So you guys be sure to support. Everybody needs help, and there's no shame in it.
Yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed the show on tonight. And listen, if you're not following Next Showcase, follow us Next Showcase on Instagram as well as here on Facebook as well as where else are we?
Twitch.
YouTube.
Yeah.
We have some, we have some people in the YouTube on YouTube. We have some people that joined us via Facebook. We have some people that joined us via Twitch. So thanks to everyone that's in the YouTube room, the Facebook room, and thank you guys for joining us.
Like I said, we are a music organization, but we want to provide information about everyday living. So stay tuned and follow us. We're going to have some more great topics. We're going to make great shows, some entertainment for you as well. So again, guys, thank you for tuning in and being part of the show. Stay tuned. We have some more things that's coming up. And again, please follow us. I'm sorry.
Yeah, while you you're mentioning the topics, we do have some great conversations that we previously had that are on YouTube that are available for you to go back and look at. We have some great topics on voting. We have some great topics on, cooking. So those that don't know, Mark Hubbard is not a cook, but we did do a show where he was in the kitchen with the chef. Socially distanced. She was in her kitchen. He was in his kitchen, and they cooked the same meal at the same time. So check it out. If you like to have fun, we love to have fun here.
Yes.
Laughter is good.
Yes.
So check it out. There's a lot of
fashion too. Fashion. We had tips on fashion.
We have barber base for fashion. So again, let's just follow us again. You see, as I said, our main focus is music, but we like to be a well-rounded organization where we provide you some knowledge and tips on everyday living, everyday life experiences. Okay, so please.
TJ, all baby Jesus.
Yeah, baby Jesus needed to be there.
You know what? I'm not even going to entertain that. So, I learned a little bit. I learned how to cook, whatever. Anyway, so, but speaking of that, come back here on Saturday.
Caucasian, we got to be politically correct.
That's the talk. Are we ever going to end a show on a note where you are not acting up?
No, not today.
So I wish I had a mute button on here. I would definitely mute all of y'all. But anyway, so tune back in on Saturday, guys. But we have another show on Saturday, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time or 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going to be talking about some other great topics. So tune back in here on Saturday, and then we'll let you know what's going on Sunday. So we got a great weekend lined up for you guys as well. So again, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. From the bottom of my heart, we definitely appreciate the support. If you like to support what we're doing, our Cash App is Next Showcase. That is right. Did I get that right?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So right, our platforms is called Next Showcase. If you just like to sow a seed, we would definitely greatly appreciate it. Again, that's $ Next Showcase. If you'd like to support us, if not, if you can't, continue to keep us in your prayers that God will allow us to continue to do and be able to bless people with the knowledge to be able to present. All right. So again, good night. Y'all stay safe. And if we don't see you on here on this weekend, well, I won't see you anyway. But if I don't see your name pop up, have a good Christmas holiday. And we're praying that everybody be safe. All right. Y'all have a good one. Good night. Peace.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you for joining.